Hey everyone, I'm Erica with SVG and Me, and I'm so glad you're joining me here today to learn about getting started with your Cricut Maker. Now you're in the right place if you just purchased a Cricut Maker, or you're thinking about buying one, or maybe you already bought one but you're feeling too intimidated to get started, or maybe to even get it out of the box. Well, I completely understand the overwhelm of getting started because I was in your same shoes not long ago. So that's why we're going to walk through this process together, and I'm going to give you that friendly push that you may need to get started. So first things first, let's go ahead and open up your machine and go over what you'll find in the box when you unpack it. Now let me preface this by saying that if you purchase one of the bundle deals, you may have additional items in your box, but we're going to walk through everything that comes with the standard Cricut Maker purchase. So first we have the machine itself with the fine point blade loaded inside. Then there's the power cord as well as the blue and pink cutting mats. So the blue mat is for cutting lightweight materials, mostly paper and cardstock, and then the pink mat is for fabric type materials. Then inside the brown Let's Get Started box, you'll find a USB cord to connect your machine to your computer, a rotary blade for cutting fabric, a black pen for writing with your machine, and finally the materials for the sample project along with a getting started booklet. Now, one of the first questions you may be asking is, what other supplies do I need to get started? So let's walk through my list of essential supplies for beginners. And again, I'll send you this list with clickable links of all of them afterwards. So first of all, we have the basic toolkit, which has some very important tools like a weeding hook and a scraper that you will use a ton with your machine. Next, you'll want to have a green and purple cutting mat. So green is for cutting mid-weight materials like vinyl and heat transfer vinyl, and then purple is for heavyweight materials like wood or leather. Then I recommend getting the scoring wheel, which allows you to create beautiful crease lines. If you already have a scoring stylus, you can hold off buying the scoring wheel for now. But if you don't have either, then I would buy the scoring wheel over the stylus since it can score a wider range of materials. Then number 4, the knife blade is what you'll use for cutting thicker materials like wood. And then you'll want to have some adhesive vinyl to practice with. Oracle 651 is my favorite type to use, and it comes in bulk rolls or sheets. So I'd probably get black or white in bulk since you use those the most often, and then some sheets of different colors to practice with. Number 6 is transfer tape, which is what you use to place the vinyl on your final surface. Number 7 is heat transfer vinyl, which is also called iron-on or HTV, you'll hear it called, which is what you'll use to decorate shirts or any other fabric materials. So Caesar Easy Weed is my favorite general use type of HTV. Again, this comes in rolls and sheets. I would probably recommend getting at least a few sheets of black and then a couple other favorite colors to get started with. And then finally, you'll want to get a variety pack of cardstock if you don't already have some on hand. The Recollections brand from Michaels is a nice budget-friendly option for beginners. Now let's go ahead and get your machine set up. So we'll go ahead and unwrap it from its protective material, and then we'll go ahead and plug it in to our power outlet. The power plug is on the right-hand side there, and then you plug the other side into your outlet. Then you'll go ahead and open your machine by just lifting that top cover and then press the on button to power it on. Then you'll go ahead and go to cricut.com/setup. And when you get to this site, you can click Get Started. And you're either going to create a Cricut ID by filling out the info here and make sure that you click that I accept the Cricut terms of use, and you can decide if you want emails from them or not. and then you'd click the Create ID, or if you already have one, just go ahead and sign in here, which is what I'm going to do. Then it's going to prompt you to connect your machine with the USB, which is a good idea for the first time around. So I'm going to go ahead and connect the USB cable to the back of the machine on the left side there of the power cord, and then plug that USB into my computer. Once you do, you can go ahead and hit continue. And then you may be prompted to update the firmware if it's needed, so you'll select whatever device you're setting up. So in our case, it's the Maker with the USB connection, and you'll click update firmware, and that'll install the new firmware on your machine. And once it's done, you can just go ahead and click continue. Then when you buy your machine, you'll get a free gift of Cricut Access, a 2 free week trial, or 4 weeks free if you want to go ahead and sign up. So you can select which option you'd like, and then go ahead and hit Get Cricut Access, continue, and then it's going to go ahead and prompt you to do your first sample project, but we're going to hold right there for a second, and I'm going to show you how to pair via Bluetooth, since that's typically how I like to connect on an everyday basis because it's wireless and really easy to do. So to pair on an iPad or an iPhone, you're going to go ahead and go to Settings and then go to Bluetooth. Make sure your Bluetooth's on and your machine is on, and then go ahead and select your Cricut under the other devices, and then you're going to enter the pin to pair it. So the pin is 0000. And then you're going to click pair in the upper right there, and you'll know you did it correctly if it says connected. Now you're going to go ahead and open your Design Space app, click New Machine Setup, click the Get Started button, and then you're either going to create a Cricut ID or go ahead and sign in if you already have an ID. And just like that, you're paired and ready to go. Now for a Mac computer, it's super easy to pair. Just go to System Preferences, click on Bluetooth, and then you'll find your machine under Devices and click Pair. If you have a PC, go ahead and go to svgandme.com/Bluetooth-PC, and we've linked the instructions on how to do it on a PC. All right, now that it's set up, let's get a little bit more familiar with all the different parts and buttons on your Cricut Maker. Now the Cricut Maker doesn't have an open button. You just go ahead and lift the lid and it does it automatically. Then we have the power button that we already used, and the load and unload mat button, which is the one with the arrows on either side. Then we have the go or cut button, which is the Cricut logo there. And finally the pause button. So if anything ever goes wrong and you need to pause the cut, you can just use that there. Next we have some storage areas. So we have a cup over here and then some hidden storage down here. And then there's a little groove where you can place an iPad or mobile device there. And then finally we have the A or accessories port, which is where you would insert a scoring stylus or a pen. And then finally the B port, which is where you put blades and tools like the rotary blade, the fine point blade, etc. Then we have the star wheels, these little white wheels here, which can actually be moved to the right in order to not obstruct thicker materials that you're cutting. All right, so let's go ahead and demonstrate how to load into the A and B ports. So in the A port, let's go ahead and load a pen. And you're gonna go ahead and open the A port just by unclamping it. And then you're going to stick the tip of the pen with that arrow facing you into the A port, and then just kind of brace it with your finger and it'll snap, and you'll see that arrow disappears and you can close it. And you can just put the cap on top so you don't lose it. When you're done, just simply pull it out and it's super easy and you can clamp it back. Now for the B port, you just go ahead and similarly open the clamp. For the fine point blade, you just go ahead and make sure that the top of it is really flush with the top of the port there, and then you close the metal clamp and then you kind of pull the plastic part in front of it and clamp it shut. Now for blades like the rotary blade where it has that metal top with the plastic covering, you don't remove the plastic. And then you'll want to go ahead and when you open the clamp, make sure that the metal port that's exposed goes towards the machine, and then it kind of interlocks. So you can kind of place it on the top there, and if you move it right to left, it shouldn't wiggle, and then you can clamp it closed. Now that you know your way around your machine, let's go ahead and do our first project together. So we're back in Design Space and we'll just hit continue. But if you lost the project, just go to Projects and search Smile Card and you'll be able to find it and start again. So on this first project, it'll go ahead and prompt you where to click. So you're going to go ahead and click Make It and then Continue. And select your device, which we're going to use our maker, and set your material to medium cardstock. And then it'll tell you to go ahead and load the pen. Hit continue and make sure that your fine point blade is loaded. Hit continue. So we'll open up our black envelope here that has the materials for our project, and you'll see it'll have the cardstock and then a piece of blue cardstock and a piece of fabric. So we're going to place the cardstock on our blue light grip mat. So just go ahead and pull off the protective covering. But just a tip, you want to make sure to save that sheet because I always replace it back on my mats each time to keep off any dust or dog hair that tends to accumulate on those sticky mats. Then we'll go ahead and grab our cardstock here, and you want to make sure that you place it in the very upper left corner there along the top and left line, and then just smooth it down nicely. And then you'll go ahead and guide it under those two plastic guides on either side, and then press the load arrow button and then the flashing cut button once you're ready to go. And that'll start, go ahead and it'll draw the design and then it'll cut it with your fine point blade. And it's pretty mesmerizing to watch. Once it's done, you can go ahead and unload your pen so you don't forget to do that. And then unload your mat. And you can see, isn't it really, really amazing what it does? Even to this day, I'm still amazed at the capabilities of it. And then with these new sticky mats, you want to make sure that you go ahead and flip it over and then kind of brace your cardstock against the surface and pull your mat away from it. And that helps prevent any curling or tearing. Now we're going to go ahead and fold it in half. And then we'll go ahead and place the blue card insert inside. So you'll just kind of bend it so that it opens up those corners there and you can slip the blue inside. And you're going to do that on each of the four corners. Now you can go ahead and leave it as is, or you can go ahead and opt to embellish your card with the little fabric kite you can see here. So we'll hit continue, and then it'll prompt you to start a new project and to go ahead and grab an image. And then to go ahead and search for kite, and then select this yellow kite here and insert it into our project. Now we can go ahead and click Make It and continue. Select our device again, set our material, but this time we're going to select fabric. And we need to make sure that our rotary blade is loaded. Now we'll go ahead and place our fabric on the pink cutting mat, which is for fabric. And again, keep that protective sheet to place back on it later. And then place your fabric, smooth it down there, and then place it under the guides. Press the flashing load mat button, and then press the flashing cut button. And you'll see the rotary blade will pick up as it maneuvers the cut. and then the flashing unload button, you can press that to unload your mat. And then you're just going to pull your fabric off, and you'll be amazed at how clean those line cuts are. And then you're simply going to go ahead and glue the fabric kite onto your card if you'd like. And just like that, you have finished your first project. So you may be thinking, well, now what? Well, as the perfect follow-up to this video, we've actually created a Core 4 mini-series, and it covers all of the 4 essential skills that every Cricut crafter needs to know as a beginner. So you'll actually be able to create everything that you see here by the end of this series, and it's completely free. I've linked the first video right below this one. So just look for the first video of the Core 4 series and hop on over and watch that now. See you there.